Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
In that breaking news, a deputy is in the hospital after being shot in Franklin County. What we're learning about the shooting and the person who was arrested.
And more spotty rain possible this morning. Then a cold front swings through. It could bring a bit more rain and also windy conditions. I'll let you know how windy it will be through this afternoon.
Plus, a presidential visit. President Donald Trump will give a speech in Rocky Mount tonight. What he's expected to focus on during his trip to North Carolina. Certainly a lot of stories that we are covering from the overnight hours. Thanks for joining us this Friday morning on WRAL News. I'm Chris Levingood. You likely heard some rainfall on your rooftop earlier. It's since died down a little bit, but don't get too excited. Still kind of lingering around, and meteorologist Grant Skinner is looking at those lingering effects, Grant.
Yeah, some more showers and storms back to our east right now. We had a heavier batch of rain that's now up in Virginia, up towards Richmond and Norfolk. It's making its way north and east. Made some heavier downpours early this morning, closer to around 1:32 a.m. Those have moved out. Still some lingering rain back to our west with the cold front as it makes its way east. So some spotty rain is possible this morning, but for right now, it is quieter. You can see just some light rain over Wake County right now. Maybe a couple more showers working their way up 95 right now. You can see back to the north and west, back towards Winston-Salem, Greensboro, some downpours still lingering there and some brief wind gusts as well. A special weather statement for gusts up to 40 miles per hour. We could see some of those wind gusts through this morning. Forecast rainfall, or the rainfall for the past 24 hours, I should say, anywhere from around a quarter of an inch to as high as around an inch of rain. And we could see a little bit more this morning. We'll talk more about how long this lasts and also how windy and how much will cool down through the rest of the day. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
We'll see you in just a little bit, Grant. Thank you. This morning, a Franklin County deputy is in the hospital after being shot on duty. This happened late last night on East River Road near George Leonard Road. That's south of Lewisburg, if you're familiar. That scene cleared around 3:15 this morning, and WRAL's Ali Calabar is at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office this morning. Ali, the sheriff says the suspect in this shooting is in custody.
And he also says, Chris, that the community is safe. There's no threat at this time. And right now, deputies are investigating what led up to one of their own getting shot in the line of duty. Now, Sheriff Kevin White shared this photo of the deputy, Taylor Lucas. He was shot last night. White said Lucas was chasing a suspect when the person opened fire. While Lucas was trying to arrest the suspect, he was shot. We saw deputies investigating two crime scenes just hundreds of feet apart. One was on East River Road and the other on George Leonard Road. We also saw forensics investigators gathering evidence of a damaged vehicle that was then towed away. Now, White says that Deputy Lucas is in the hospital getting treated right now, but we're working to find out the identity of the suspect, what charges that suspect is facing, and the current condition that Lucas is in. Reporting live in Franklin County, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
We're also following breaking news in Smithfield. Firefighters were at the scene of a house fire on Castle Drive into the early morning hours. That's off Wilson Mills Road. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker around 2 o'clock this morning. We saw police and fire investigators there at that scene, and we're working to learn more about what started the fire and whether anyone was injured. Tonight, President Donald Trump will speak in Rocky Mount. One of President Trump's biggest 2024 campaign promises was to bring down inflation, but inflation has kept rising due in part to his tariffs. A new Fox News poll this week shows 72% of Americans have a negative view of the economy. Here in North Carolina, a new Elon University poll found only a third of people approve Trump's job performance. WRAL's Will Doran says Trump is expected to promote his economic agenda in Rocky Mount.
Trump still has a lot of support in North Carolina, especially more rural areas like Rocky Mount where he's headed. But inflation is still rising, tariffs have raised the price of goods, and he's really trying to make the case for his vision for the economy.
President Trump says the country is trending toward a historic economic boom. He's expected to speak at the Rocky Mount Event Center. Doors open for that event at 6 o'clock tonight, and WRAL will be there and we'll have live reports in our evening newscasts. The holiday travel rush is officially underway. From packed highways to crowded airports, millions of people are going to be on the move starting today. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live in Raleigh this morning. Kelsey, experts say a little preparation can go a long way before you hit the road.
Yes, Chris, a lot of folks will be filling up here at the gas station and hitting the road this weekend. So we have your holiday road trip checklist. This is especially for the folks who will be driving long distances this holiday season. So first, you need to make sure that you check to see if you should get your oil change, then check your tire pressure and air filter. If you're traveling north, make sure you have antifreeze and windshield wiper fluid that work well in cold temperatures.
The south you get into the United States, the less windshield washer fluid you are able to purchase that doesn't freeze below 32 degrees. Never presents a problem unless you've got a cross-country travel in the middle of the winter. Then when you need it, it's a frozen block of solid windshield washer fluid underneath the hood.
And there's some good news for drivers this morning. You may have already noticed that gas prices are much cheaper this year compared to last. So if you want to find the cheapest gas prices here in our area, head to WRAL.com and search Fuel Tracker. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News. I'm in Raleigh.
Knowing the best place to fuel up is key. Prices vary from state to state, but overall gas prices are lower than last year. So here's a look at those prices across North Carolina. Here in Raleigh, a gallon of regular gas will cost you about $2.66. In Wilmington, it costs $2.64. And in Charlotte, a gallon goes for about $2.65. Well, this morning, we are expected to get new insight from TSA about holiday travel at RDU. TSA leadership will give advice to travelers, and that includes why having real ID compliant identification is so critical for your trip. They'll also share advice on getting through busy airports easily over the holidays. Well, the NASCAR community is mourning the death of former driver Greg Biffle and his family. They were killed in a private jet crash. This happened yesterday at Statesville Regional Airport. It's about 45 miles north of Charlotte. The FAA says it happened while the private jet was trying to land. Biffle, his wife Christina, and their two children, Ryder and Emma, were among the 7 people killed. Biffle won 19 Cup Series races throughout his long career, and he was also known for his humanitarian work. After Helene devastated western North Carolina, he stepped in to help.
Within 2 hours, Greg Biffle was in flight to Mission Hospital to land on top of the deck there with 7 Starlink units for our police department to use.
Biffle was a licensed pilot, but it's not clear who was flying the plane at the time of the crash. The NTSB is handling that investigation. And investigators say the man suspected of carrying out the mass shooting at Brown University was found dead. 48-year-old Claudio Valente's body was found in a storage locker in New Hampshire. Authorities say he shot himself. And U.S. attorneys also believe Valente is connected to the murder of an MIT professor 2 days after the mass shooting. Valente was a former Brown student and a Portuguese national. He went to the school in 2000 on a student visa, and he eventually obtained legal permanent resident status in 2017. Actually, the federal government has since paused the diversity visa lottery program for immigrants. That's how Valente received his green card. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem ordered the pause after Valente was found dead. People across North Carolina are expressing their condolences about the death of former Governor Jim Hunt. Governor Josh Stein posted on social media yesterday, and he called Governor Hunt a visionary and a dear friend. Hunt served as governor of North Carolina from 1993 to 2001, and some of his achievements include his focus on programs for public schools. One of his first priorities was to establish Smart Start to boost early childhood education. It's a program he fought for years.
I've got this man coming in my office as governor, putting his hands on my knee and going, Governor, now you're going to protect Smart Start, aren't you?
We have full coverage of the death of former Governor Hunt on WRAL.com, and that includes extended interviews from the people who knew him best. The Durham Association of Educators is asking the school district to work with them on key issues. Last night, DAE met with the superintendent's team, and they talked about the problems they want to take to the school board together. Those employees are calling on DPS to issue an updated ICE policy and train staff on anti-bullying. They're also asking for more transparency about the budget.
Tough budget decisions need to be made by all stakeholders, students, family, workers, the entire community, like we have an opportunity to do in Meet and Confer.
The group is asking for raises for classified staff, a stronger grievance policy, and biweekly pay. They also say the district needs to address issues with bus reliability. The U.S. plans to celebrate the nation's 250th birthday with a national competition called the Patriot Games. President Donald Trump plans to host the game. They will be hosted in Washington, D.C. as part of an anniversary celebration initiative called Freedom 250.
In the fall, we will host the first ever Patriot Games, an unprecedented 4-day athletic event featuring the greatest high school athletes, one young man and one young woman from each state and territory.
Other national events for the year-long celebration are expected to include a state fair on the National Mall, a new arch monument, and a UFC fight event on the White House South Lawn. Happening today, the Pirates will celebrate their fall commencement. The ceremony starts at 10 a.m., recognizing the class of 2025 at ECU. Former ECU baseball player Clayton McCullough will deliver the keynote speech. He is the manager of the Miami Marlins and a World Series winning coach. Tickets are not required, but there is limited seating, so you know. NC State's football team will look to end the season on a winning note today. They'll take on the Memphis Tigers this afternoon in the Gasparilla Bowl. That game is being played at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, and kickoff is at 2:30. Well, it's been 1 year of Bill Belichick at UNC. Our brand new documentary looks at all the hype and the headlines and what really happened during the hiring process. UNC ended the season with 4 wins and 8 losses, and many blame Belichick for the on-the-field problems. But UNC Chancellor Lee Roberts said success isn't measured in one season. You can watch Coaching Carolina the Belichick Way right now on all WRAL platforms. Your time is 4:41. A familiar face, a new name jumps into North Carolina's 2026 Senate race, but it's someone voters already know. Why the announcement is getting immediate attention. And already 2026? Kinda. New Year's Eve excitement is popping up early in Times Square. Why visitors are getting a sneak peek weeks before the big countdown. And we do want to give you a live look at Rocky Mountain Mills this morning. A little quiet, but a little rainfall still falling around there. Meteorologist Grant Skinner is tracking when the rain will pass out our area.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
Here's Dual Doppler 5000 this morning. Some spotty light rain ongoing right now. The majority of it is back to our north and west. We have some heavier pockets of rain. Could see some brief wind gusts with that rain this morning as well. Once that exit and the front passes, still going to be breezy, but we will clear through the rest of the day today. A 30% rain chance from now through around 9 a.m. I think that best chance will probably be around 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning as that front's moving through. Then the rain chances drop off. Then plenty of sunshine by the afternoon. But again, it will be cooling off. And with the breezes as well, it will feel cooler. Gusts from around 20 miles per hour right now, all the way up to around 25 to 30 miles per hour. We could see some gusts up to 40 at times. Now, we'll be less breezy by Saturday morning. I'll let you know how chilly we'll be to start the weekend and also how Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are looking. It's coming up in a bit.
All right, sounds good, Grant. Thank you. Well, a familiar face is jumping into the North Carolina 2026 U.S. Senate race. Republican Michelle Morrow is joining a crowded primary for the seat being vacated by Tom Tillis. Morrow is a homeschooling advocate from Cary who says schools are indoctrinating children with what she calls, quote, woke ideology. She lost last year's general election to be the state school superintendent, and her opponents in that race highlighted her attendance at the January 6, 2021 rally at the U.S. Capitol. For a look at who's vying for the Senate seat up for grabs, you can go to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. Erica Kirk has announced her plans to endorse Vice President J.D. Vance in the 2028 presidential election. She's the widow of Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk. Kirk made the announcement in a speech opening the Republican group's annual conference. Vance has not yet announced his 2028 plans, though. So Pokemon cards, if you didn't know, they are big business. And now a local manufacturing company is expanding in what is believed to be one of the biggest industrial lease deals this year. Multiple sources tell WRAL Pokemon card manufacturer Millennium Print Group will move into Spark LS. That's a 1.3 million square foot facility in Mooresville. It will serve as the hub for the global manufacturer of trading cards and collectible cards. Millennium and Pokemon didn't immediately respond to requests for comment, and the deal comes as sales of trading cards have surged in recent years. So if you're still shopping for the holidays, don't worry, you're not alone. This Saturday before Christmas, also known as Super Saturday, is expected to be the busiest yet. Industry experts say nearly 159 million people could be out hunting for last-minute gifts. That's even more than last year. Surveys show many shoppers were only halfway done earlier this month. Stores are bracing for big crowds, long lines, and packed parking lots. And many shoppers are actually turning to the internet to check items off their Christmas list. But beware of fake refund scams. Basically, thieves are targeting holiday shoppers whose inboxes are filled with offers and orders. A fake refund scam email will usually include your real name, a real store logo, real order amount, and pressure to respond within 24 hours. But to avoid being targeted, experts say shoppers should never click a refund link in emails or texts. You should also turn on multi-factor authentication and remove personal information from data brokers. 2026 arrived early in Times Square, at least the actual numbers did. The giant 2026 numerals for the Times Square New Year's Eve ball arrived in Manhattan yesterday. The 7-foot-tall numbers are now available for early photo ops at street level. After Tuesday, the 2026 sign will be transported by teams to the top of One Times Square. Here locally, Lake Lure is getting closer to reopening for the first time since Helene hit. Teams are working on replacing seals on the gates, and they had to raise the lake level for that work to happen. It'll get drained again in the next few weeks, and the next phase of work will wrap up in February. The lake is expected to reopen in May. Well, today is WRAL's Day of Giving for the annual Coats for the Children campaign. Our phone banks will open at 6 a.m. The campaign runs through December 31st, and we need your help to gather as many new or gently used coats and hats and gloves as possible. To find a neighborhood Jiffy Lube drop-off location near you or to make a monetary donation, you can scan that QR code right there on your screen. You can also go to WRAL.com/coats and help WRAL and the Salvation Army spread the warmth and the hope. All right, you likely heard rain on your rooftop this morning. I know I did. Still saw some when I was driving in, Grant, but the thing is, it's not going to stay around all day. It's going to eventually move out, right?
That's right. It came late yesterday, lasted through early this morning. There's still some spotty rain out there. And with the front actually moving through into around mid-morning, we could see a bit more rain. But the main thing I'm watching for is some stronger wind gusts, up to around 25 to 40 miles per hour. And with that, we could see some sporadic power outages through at least the morning hours, maybe into the early afternoon as well. And also behind the front will cool off. By this evening, spots will sit in the 30s and 40s. And then really around 30 degrees by Saturday morning. Here's Rocky Mount Mills right now. We still have a lot of low cloud cover and some spotty rain out there. That's where I've seen some light showers over the past 15 to 30 minutes. Radar is mostly quiet over our area right now, but there is some rain back towards the Triad region, and that's going to slowly work its way in our direction as the cold front gets closer and closer. So again, with that, we could see some brief wind gusts and also a few extra downpours left over, but it's not going to be the widespread rain you saw early this morning, so I'm not expecting like widespread impacts to the morning commute and not the impacts we saw yesterday evening from that rain. Temperatures at around 60 degrees right now. It's a warmer start to the day because we're still ahead of that front, so there's a lot of warm air still in place. Also, with all that cloud cover in place, it just keeps all the air trapped. So 60 in Raleigh, 64 in Fayetteville, 59 in Roxborough. It's still 63 in Rocky Mount. But again, once that front passes, then we'll see cooling. So this is going to look different from what we typically see for the hour-by-hour temperatures. Usually you see that peak in the afternoon. It's going to be cooling into the afternoon, around 50 by 3 o'clock. And then by this evening, sitting in the low 40s, some spots in the upper 30s by around 8, 9 o'clock. And we'll see some brief wind gusts as well, up to around 25 to 30 this morning and lingering through the early afternoon. So keep that in mind. A bit breezy out there through at least the morning hours, could linger to the early afternoon. A chilly start to your Saturday, then more sunshine for much of the weekend. And looking ahead to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, temperatures bounce back to the 60s. So it'll be a warm middle of next week.
But not a white Christmas. Well, some people sad about that, Grant. All right, your time right now is 4:51. Hollywood honors, a big recognition and surprising collaboration, plus a fresh take on a familiar story. And tiny sweaters. Some of the smallest basins are spreading big holiday cheer this Christmas. How these moments are turning into keepsakes for families. A Lifetime Achievement Award for Harrison Ford and Sabrina Carpenter will team up with the Muppets. Here's Douglas Hyde with today's Hollywood Minute.
Harrison Ford's blockbuster films have earned him millions of fans. Now the screen icon is getting some major love from his acting peers. The Screen Actors Guild is giving him its highest honor, the Life Achievement Award. Ford will pick up his prize in March at the Guild's Actor Awards, which will stream live on Netflix. It's time to light the lights. The Muppets are set to return with a new music and comedy special. Sabrina Carpenter will join Kermit and Company for the big event, which arrives February 4th on Disney Plus and ABC.
Sherlock Holmes, sir. It's an unusual name.
Here's a first look at the upcoming Prime Video series Young Sherlock. The show tells the famed detective's origin story involving a globe-trotting mystery from his Oxford University days. Guy Ritchie, who directed the 2 Sherlock films starring Robert Downey Jr., serves as executive producer and helmed the first 2 episodes. Young Sherlock debuts in March. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
So we're less than a week away from Christmas Day, and we want to show you these cute little NICU babies getting into the holiday spirit. The babies at Cleveland Children's NICU were carefully dressed in their finest ugly holiday sweaters, but I think we all agree these babies are so cute. Hospital officials say each family will keep the special crocheted holiday hats and sweaters as keepsakes. Aww. All right, your time this morning right now is 4:56. Deputy shot. This morning, a member of the Franklin County Sheriff's Department is in the hospital, where that investigation stands this morning. Plus, decades later, a long-fought battle finally ends for North Carolina's Lumbee tribe. Why this moment could bring major changes to Robinson County. And weekend plans. From family fun to live entertainment, there is something for everyone across the triangle. We're breaking down WRAL's Out and About Best Bets.